Hello YouTube fans, here again. And I figure why not, as I did start at the Motion Picture, start at 2, the Wrath of Time, start at 3, the Search for Spock, why not this one? Start at 4, the Voyage Home, why not? Now this one when it come out was a bit just like all of them. Some people was a bit thingy because it was more, how can I put it? It was a bit more down to earth. But I like that. I like that because I thought it was different. It was a different known from the other ones, and a lot of people who was a bit forget that in some of the TV shows back in the 1960s they did that. They did that where the Enterprise either went on Earth back in that era when the series was made, or in the olden times, and blah blah blah. They did that in a few episodes. So I like that. I thought it was different. It was different gnome, even though it's been done in the 60s. So it was good. So it basically foils on from that one. They now got a thing on SIP, which sort of had that in that one. And there's a bit what makes me laugh. What I mean by it makes me laugh. You've got the other people from the third one. They have been caught for what they did to the Enterprise. I thought it was laughable. And the reason why I think it was laughable was they were going to get rid of the Enterprise anyway. I was about to say. They were going to get rid of the Enterprise anyway in that. But because they blew it up and all this, they was peed and was going to be taken to court. Now, I do know the one which did the music to this also did the music to Robotop 2. So you think the music sounds similar to Robotop 2, it's the same people that produced and did the music. So it wasn't the same ones that did the music to the Motion Picture or the Wrath of Time or the Search for Spock. I don't mind it, but I prefer, if anything, I sooner would have had the that music, you know, the one from the Motion Picture or Wrath of Time or Search for Spot. I should have had that. This one, but I don't mind it. It's not bad, but I should have had music from Arthur, Motion Picture, Wrath of Time, and so on, than the music you hear. But for what it is, I went with it. So basically it's this thing, it's flying in space, it has a rail noise, and this one to me becomes a bit environmental friendly, save the rail. It does, because all it is, it's these hunters trying to kill rails, and the Enterprise has been sent to Earth in the 20th century, in the year what it is, would have been 1986 when they did this one, to save these rails. Now, I do know you got one woman in it and you think you've seen her before. Think of the mum in Child's Play. This was her first big role. And I always think there was going to be a love scene between William Shatner and her, but the people that much in it. I felt it would have been better to do that. But in this, there's a lot of humour in it. It's arts on its sleeve. Dr. Spock has got a mindset to try and get some of his memory back from that one. You do get the Falcon woman in it, but she sort of says bye-bye. And I thought, nah, in this. But you still got the others. You've got Aurora, you've got Lulu, you've got Stotter, you've got Dr. Bones. You've got them all. You've got them all. And like I say, they want to save these rails. If they don't, it could be destruction on other planets and all this. And with the tin concept, I like the fact they make it in riffable. And I do gotta admit, this one thing, sad to say, we're never ever going to find out. Did James Seymour really go underwater with that rail? With the rail? Because there's a good bit, it's underwater, it's touching this big dock off tape right rail, and it looks so believable. But we're never going to know now. We're never going to know because we all know James Seymour is sadly no longer with us as Dr. Spock. May he rest. But it was a date scene, and I love that scene. So you've gone down to save the rail. There's a bit where I think our main man falls. I think it was Lulu. We think he falls. Which I always look at him as bad luck. You have it in the series and in the films. In the motion picture, he burned his hand. Wrath of Time, he had the horrible leaks in his ear. I think the third one he got lucky, but in the fourth one he has an accident. And I do like the humour in it. I mean, I like the fact that Stotty's helping out, trying to save this, and he's trying to get all this stuff, and people fall for it. But what always makes me laugh is you've got the costumes for what they were in the Enterprise. I think you've gone now into what's supposed to be the olden times, even though it is that there. Did they ever see the sailors when they realised in the TV show they had to test up to look that error? Why would they test up looking like it's doing in the Enterprise? That's the only bit when my bit finger. And again, it does have a bit of humour in it. You've got this punk, different attitude. They're on the bus. A little bit with Dr. Spock does a Falcon move and knocks him out. And a few laughs and chuckles there. So there's a date bit. They're going to save the rail. The dirt who you think's going to be loving Tesseverum Satners, Captain Turk. She finds out about the Enterprise and about what they're going to do. And like I said, about to kill the whale. He said, no, don't kill the whale, don't kill the whale. But because he's got these fucking hunters, but they managed to save the whale. Get the whale in the thing, they fly off, and they drop it off in their own land, being the planet. And like I said, there's a good bit in it when they're flying to Earth and the Chingon sit goes down. And I love the bit where the face fades a bit. That reminds me of the motion picture. It's one of them. You've never experienced drugs. What's in that? Your eyes are tight. But I do like it. I mean, I like the effects. I like the fact it's a different story. I like the fact they're now on Earth, both in the olden times, but I keep repeating myself, in that era. I like it. Again, I just wish the music was either chucked from, that's me arm, was either done by the Wrath of Time or the Search for Spot or even the other one, because the music, I could take it or leave it. But they get an award anyway. They get an award. They get an award for saving the rails. The Durr wants to no longer be a thing because she worked for rails. But what happened was they had to put the rails back. She was upset. Her hunter was going to kill the rail, but out of luck, the Enterprise saved it. And one thing else is good about this. Is, like the Search for Spot, they also resurrect the Enterprise. But I almost forgot to say, this bit made me laugh. It made me fucking laugh, because when they was getting into court, they had bits where they blew up the Enterprise from that. And I'm thinking, how the fuck could you have seen that? What did they do? Did they have an old VCR or a DVD player or a Blu-ray or Star Trek 3, The Wrath of Time? Sorry, Star Trek 3, The Search for Spot, not Wrath of Time. Duh. Did they have a VHS of The Search for Spot? Because how the hell did they see this bit where the Enterprise got blew up? But it's a film, I went with it. So they get an award for saving the rail. They get thingy off charges for blowing up the Enterprise, which I thought was funny. And the reason why I thought it was funny is because to get the Enterprise back, which it does foils on in this one. And I think it had a good satisfying ending. I mean, they managed to save Allura, they brought him back, and they fire another day, and it foils on with that one. But I didn't think I had any problems. Some people said, where's it on Earth? But the thing is, do these people forget they did a few of the episodes where they were on Earth? In some of the 60s shows, they did that where they was on Earth. This is one in the olden times, its own Johnins, where they were on Earth, and that's like a good one. I might review that one day around the road of one of them episodes. So they did that. So it wasn't something new. They did it in some of the TV shows. I think they even did it in some of the Next Generation. So it was, I think at that time, they wanted to go do something different. Didn't want them fighting the Wrath of Time or fighting Klingons or something like Caesar. They wanted to do something a bit more down to earth. And I went with that. I thought it was a good one. I liked the ending. Granted, and I'm going to repeat myself, I wasn't keen on the music. I would assume it would have been like the music from the motion picture and the earlier ones. But it weren't bad for what it was. So that's Star Trek 4, The Voyage, which back in 1986 was a big hit. 86, when you think about it, was a big day for films. You had Aliens, you had The Golden Child, you had Big Trouble in Little China, and not only that, you had Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, and the list goes on in that day. The list goes on. So this was a big hit, nevertheless. Some people was funny because it was on Earth, and some people loved it for that. and that was wonderful. So for that, a 5-star rating for me. But you do them, be smart, be safe, don't do it, so I'll see you later.